Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Court Cutting TV, Bluford's Tax Preparation, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Casa Samtonieta Indialapa, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, John Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Motown Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get-together live here on Facebook and YouTube, where we take a look at news from our city, state, and country. We take a look at your comments, ideas, and suggestions about Puerto Vallarta, how to connect with our city, how to connect with our state, how to connect with each other in a nurturing, positive way. It is a pleasure to see you today, Wednesday, July 23rd. I didn't start doing this, but just before I began the broadcast this morning, I was looking up words on the dictionary. I don't know if you do that, but every time I have a doubt about a word, I always am relieved. I am always relieved that I have a dictionary around. The word in case this morning was conjecture. I wanted to make sure that the word means what I think it means, and it does, because the first news item that we have today has to do with conjecture. And I hope I'm pronouncing that well. Conjecture? I suppose that's the way you say it. But even before we get into the news, I hope everybody's doing great. As usual, if you have an important question or comment, please make sure to add a capital letter Q to your question. If you are watching live for the first time and would appreciate a nice little friendly welcome from the cluster, just add a capital letter N, as in new. And what is the conjecture about? Well, let's start with that. The conjecture actually happened a few days ago when a representative from the Ecologist Party of Mexico, or the Green Party, Jose Antonio Sanchez, stated that our mayor, Luis Munguía, would become or will become governor of Jalisco in 2030. Well, it's a little bit early for that. And what we learned in this news item is that our mayor shared his feelings about that announcement. And I quote, Mayor Munguía said, "I am, of course, always grateful for everyone's good intentions. And of course, I am grateful for that support because for me, the message was one of support, of trust." But he also said, "We continue to deepen our responsibility. Today, what I'm thinking about, and I say this clearly, is about good governance in Puerto Vallarta." So we hope our mayor means that, and we hope that this kind of announcement doesn't get to his head, and we hope that he continues to focus on making our city the best possible city. Now, the next one I would love to hear your opinion, not that it makes a difference because, well, the news will explain it. Apparently, oh, let me clear that properly. Okay, much better. Apparently, there was a survey. I didn't get the survey, but there was a survey for Vallarta residents regarding a proposal to implement immediate fines for those who litter or dispose of trash after hours or in inappropriate places. And guess what? Most residents disagreed with the fines. They argued that the garbage problem has deeper causes that are not being addressed. For example, that the garbage collection service is deficient, or that the trucks don't have a fixed schedule, or that in some neighborhoods they don't run regularly, or that the bells are no longer used to announce their arrival, making it difficult for residents to take out their trash on time. It was also mentioned that due to the lack of public containers, garbage is scattered by stray dogs, further complicating collection. Some people said that the current schedules don't fit into their work days, making it difficult for them to throw the trash properly. So, Vallarta residents think that instead of imposing fines, the municipal government should improve the collection system, increasing the number of trucks, establishing fixed schedules, and making them more accessible for everyone, particularly those that work. I actually, and this is my personal opinion, I don't think either solution is mutually exclusive. Of course, nobody wants to pay fines for disposing of trash improperly. But at the flip side of that is that, okay, let's assume that the government fixes everything, and that the trash collectors come at a certain time and they ring the bell, and you know I bet my left foot that even so, people would still continue to throw their trash irresponsibly, and people would still um, be incentivized by a potential fine to follow the guidelines if if there were fines in place. So do let me know what you think of this. To me, it's like everything helps and anything helps to keep our city cleaner. We need better trash culture. We need more established collection, but we need for citizens to take responsibilities for their actions. But of course, this is all my opinion. You let me know what you think in your comment, and we'll get to that in a second. Moving right along, and speaking of trash, I got this from Banderas News. Municipal authorities will launch a focused campaign this weekend to remove waste from the city's rivers and streams, aiming to cut pollution before it reaches the beaches. Of course, this happens after COFEPRIS, or the Federal Commission for the Protection Against Sanitary Risks, decided that three popular beaches in our city, Camarones, Mismaloya, and the mouth of the Quale, are temporarily unfit for recreation due to high levels of caca molecules, which of course sounds like a good idea. We will come back to this after the break, because I want to talk about something that is a little gray area, and I'm curious as to where you are. I have one more. This one surprised me. It's clear that I don't have any children. And if I had children, I might have a better idea of what is taught in schools. When I grew up, I had music class in elementary. I had music class in high school. So I had no idea that kids today don't learn music in school. But apparently, the Jalisco government has announced an investment of nearly 45 million pesos to strengthen arts education in the state, with the goal of making it a global cultural icon. So the state of Jalisco will be the first state to include music classes in the elementary and high school curriculums, with classrooms and instruments adapted to each grade level. Again, I had no idea the music classes had disappeared, but I'm happy that they're coming back. Did you have music classes when you were growing up? That's when I learned to play this thing, which continues to be close to me whenever I get a chance to do some blowing, which I enjoy very much. Let's look at our weather forecast and see what's going on out there. Today is Wednesday. It's still not raining. It's still really hot. Let's see what Snarky Weather has to say about all of that. Yes, your local weatherman is an idiot. Well, I don't know about that, but that's what Snarky Weather has to say. Today we are at 31 degrees. Humidity is at 72%. Our weather forecast for today says we're going to have clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon. A chance of rain of 34%, a high of 34, and a low of 23, a high of 34. That's freaking hot. Tomorrow, mostly clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon with a chance of rain of 61%. Great weather for Motown, if you ask me. A high of 33 and a low of 23. And then on Friday, partly cloudy skies in the morning with rain in the afternoon. A chance of rain of 68%, a high of 32, and the low of 23. And that's what we have for the weather forecast. I want to let you know that on Friday, if you're a lady, you get bottomless margaritas and sangrías with dinner at El Rey Barbecue Lounge de Versalles. It seems like the El Rey Barbecue Lounge de Versalles has specials just about every day of the week. And to confirm this, I am so happy that Lorenzo Goodwin of El Rey Barbecue Lounge is coming to the spotlight this afternoon. We're going to tape an interview about all the wonderful things that are going on these days at El Rey Barbecue Lounge. We're also going to record an interview with two local residents that have been contributing with their writing to a website called Substack. And we'll get to see what they're up to and whether Substack is something that you should consider. These local residents are dear friends as well. They're Pamela Shepard and Paul Christ. They both write about different things. So we'll check in with them just to see how things are going with them, for them rather, in this new venture. And of course, the spotlight, as you know, is our invitation for anyone that is doing anything interesting to better their lives or to contribute to our well-being or to provide products or services that we could use. We do these interviews on Wednesday afternoons. The time needs to be updated in this little promotional thing because we usually used to do them at 4 o'clock, but now we are moving the interviews to 3 o'clock at the request of the hotel. And I'm happy to do that, of course. And now let me dive into a gray area for which I would love your opinion. And I go back to this notion that our local government is doing a lot right now to ensure that the beaches are fit for swimming. Yesterday, I went and had lunch up the Rio Cuale to my favorite place, Moro Paraíso, with Lars. We were there to meet some other friends. Why in the middle of the week? Well, first of all, why not? It's very quiet up there, and I'm sure that the restaurant could use the business. We had a lovely, lovely time. But the reason I bring, sorry. The reason I bring this up is because on the way to the restaurant, we were watching people enjoying the swimming on the river. And we were wondering, well, if we know that the mouth of Rio Cuale is particularly filthy with sewage, it's got to be because a lot of people are disposing of their sewage onto the river. But is this happening close to the city where there's a lot more urban density, or is this happening high up in the mountains? Or another way to look at it is, are the people that we saw swimming in the river safe or not safe? Which led to a conversation of how much in fear do we live our lives? Yesterday was so hot that I said to Lars, I would not mind a few caca molecules for the pleasure of swimming in the river. not knowing whether the river is polluted closer to the beach or whether it's polluted high up in the mountains. For all I know, all these times that I've gone swimming in the river, I've been dying slowly from caca molecule poisoning or whatever. The point I'm trying to make, and there's no right or wrong answer here, this is more for you to have a conversation with your pillow, unless you want to share your opinion, is we choose how much we want to live in fear. Of course, I could walk out the door in my apartment and say to myself, okay, I'm going to cross the street and I could get killed by a bus, or I'm going to go to a restaurant, or I'm going to go to a taco stand and I'm going to get food poisoning or Montezuma's revenge. I mean, we can choose to be so freaking fearful that we forget to live. Or we could choose to acknowledge, well, we're here. We might as well make the best of it. So I'm not going to tell you to go one way or another. You're welcome to share your thoughts on this. But I think I have my fears, of course. I'm terrified of tripping now that I'm older and clumsier. I'm terrified of tripping because that means you're going to fall down and break a bone, and things get ugly when you fall. But that's not going to stop me from having a good time. And that's all that I'm trying to say here. So if you have any comments on this, feel free to share. If you don't, I appreciate the fact that you took the time to listen to me. And let's take a look at what's on your mind. But first, a little Motown reminder, we're almost there.
What do Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, and Smokey Robinson have in common? They all came out of one place, Detroit, Michigan, Hitsville, USA. In the middle of the civil rights era, one man, Berry Gordy, built a musical empire with a simple mission: make music so good it breaks every barrier. From street corners to global stages, Motown wasn't just a record label. It was the sound of young America. Join Paco Ojeda for Stop in the Name of Soul, an engaging, music-filled presentation featuring 10 iconic recordings that tell the story of Motown's rise, its revolution, and its rhythm. Expect legends, expect stories, expect goosebumps. Stop in the Name of Soul will take place at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work on Thursday, July 24th at 5 p.m. Tickets are 300 pesos cash, available at the reception. Seating is limited. Get yours early.
And here we are. Let's see what we have. We have lots of good mornings, which I appreciate. Thank you so very, very much. Let's see. Have you considered in your opening saying Puerto Vallarta and vicinity? I actually have not, because we already cover our vicinity to the extent that we can find news about our vicinity. My question back to you, Harold, would be, why do you think Coffee and Headlines should say that we are explicitly about Puerto Vallarta and vicinity when we already do that? And I'm just curious as to where your comment came from. Let's see what else. Alice says, I think your opinion is right on trash. Thank you very much for that. Again, I think it's a I'm trying to look for a word, multi-angled solution. I mean, we need to be more responsible with our trash, and the city needs to improve the game or the system and whatnot. Let's see. Joanne says we need citizens and visitors to help keep our beautiful city clean. I appreciate that, Joanne, and I think that's a universal concept. I mean, it's not only about Puerto Vallarta. Everywhere we are and everywhere we go, if we don't take care of trash responsibly, it's not all that good. Let's see what else. Joanne says, where may I volunteer to help with beach cleanup? And then Monty. I'm not sure what you mean by Monty. And I'm not sure as to what the answer is. There are beach cleanup initiatives going on all the time. Whenever we are able to find notices of these on upcoming events from Facebook or other places, we mention them here. I do know that Ryan Donner and Associates, a local real estate firm, does cleanups on a regular basis. I do believe that Amapas Neighborhood does cleanups on a regular basis as well. So these are two organizations that you may want to consider. Littering versus putting trash out at the wrong times, two different things. IMO. Okay. Our music classes were so different and third world. I would love to learn more about what your music classes were like. Monish, hello, it's good to see you. I hope things are well and things are good at Rico Indian on Isla Rio Cuale. Let's see. Pam. I totally support music classes as part of a child's education. As a result, I learned to play the French horn. The visual of you, my dear Barbara, holding a French horn, I want to see photos. And Glenn says, I played a flutophone in elementary school. When I went to elementary school, we could choose to have one of these, or you could choose to have one of those melodicas. Is that what you call them in English? It's that keyboard-like thing that you blow on a little pipe and it makes sound. And our music teacher, David de Leon, he was amazing. He used to play the piano, and we used to play along all these songs and whatnot. Let's see. Karen had music classes in grade school and band and chorus in grade 7 to 12. Right? When did music classes disappear in Mexico? That is so crazy. Let's see. If no one saw the video posted yesterday about the sewage water dumping into the Rio Cuale like Niagara Falls, ew. Sepal is there now, ripping up the street and changing the broken pipes. That is great news. That is great news. The flutophone is the same as a recorder, but longer. Now I'm curious. I'm going to have to look for those. Let's see what else we have. Aha! Here we go. The people that are swimming in the river are not safe, not around poop. But are they happy? Are they going to die from swimming on the river? And that's my point. You know, I mean, we're not safe in this world. I mean, all you have to do is watch, well, I was watching television from north of the border a few weeks ago, and I was watching an award ceremony, and all the commercials were from pharmaceutical companies that were very quick to let me know how I was going to die, and how buying the proper medication was going to prevent me from having a miserable life. And then every single commercial had a very fast speaking voice at the end going, common side effects include that you're not... So, you know, we wake up in the morning and we're not fucking safe. But the bottom line to me is, how much in fear do we want to live? And I think that's a personal thing. Oh, this is beautiful. Patrick Swayze, who would have been my future ex-husband if he was still alive, said, some people spend so much time chasing life that they forget to live it. Thank you. That's a beautiful phrase. Dale says, I hope you do Motown presentation again. I'm sure we can always do a repeat of it later on in the season. Let's see what else. Oh, Carmen, I hope it rains this afternoon as well. I keep my fingers crossed. The fear thing is so damaging, probably even more than what is feared. My kids were raised with freedom, my grandkids not so much. So sad, says Deb. I hear you. Um, I mentioned it because of your audience watching from the area north of the Ameca River, which I very much appreciate, Harold. We have people watching all the way in the United States and Canada, but we continue to be focused on Puerto Vallarta for better or worse. This is where I live, and I appreciate the fact that people watch from other places, but we've always been a show about Puerto Vallarta, and I think we will continue to be a show about Puerto Vallarta. Taran, tan, 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 tan. Monish says, "Good to see you too. Yes, would love to tell you the stories of our music classes. How about I come over to Rico Indian and have some amazing Indian food sometime soon? Not this week, but next week maybe, and we can talk about music classes." um, let's see. Da-da-da-da. Anthony Sanchez says, "Buenos dias, Paco. It's not the dogs, it's the drug-addicted pepenadores that leave a mess. Great shows, as always. Looking forward to Yelapa videos. I lived in Yelapa for a long time." Well, between the drug-addicted pepenadores and the dogs and the raccoons, there's a lot of opportunity in scavenging the trash. Perhaps too much opportunity. Um... Monish, I think many of us would like to hear about your music classes. Well, that makes two of us. I'll get together with Monish and I will report. And I think we are done with today's broadcast. Thank you so very much for keeping me company. If you care to, take some time with your pillow or your mirror or your inner self and think about whether you are living too much in fear or you're cautious without forgetting to live. Again, it's a personal thing. I never have a complete answer on that one, but I do know that I try to make every moment the best one I can, and that's my wish for you. Thank you for watching today. If you are around the joint this afternoon and you want to stop by and say hello, I'll be there taping interviews at 3 o'clock. And if not, I will see you tomorrow morning for more coffee, more headlines, and more stories. Have a great day.